like that. So I wanted to, what's up, Brock? So I had a ton of people commenting on this shit. So I wanted to talk about, or just clarify what the word transgender means, because it seems like we have had a lot of differences in opinions on what that means. I'd like to first clarify that has absolutely nothing to do with gender identity or gender inequality or anything like that. A transgender is this. So this is what Wikipedia says. Transgender people are those who have a gender identity or gender expression that differs from their assigned sex. So, people who feel like a woman but they're actually a man, or people who feel like a man but who are actually a woman, are transgenders. Okay? Transgender people are sometimes called transsexual if they desire medical assistance to transition from one sex to another. Transgender is also an umbrella term. In addition to including people whose gender identity is the opposite of their assigned sex, trans men and trans women, it may include people who are not exclusively masculine or feminine, people who are genderqueer or non-binary, including bigender, pangender, gender fluid, or agender. That's a whole lot of different terminology, if you ask me. Other definitions of transgender also include people who belong to a third gender or conceptualize transgender people as a third gender. What? Infrequently, the term transgender is defined very broadly to include crossdressers, regardless of their gender identity. So they're calling crossdressers transgenders also, even though so go on a little bit here. Being transgender is independent of sexual orientation. Transgender people may identify as heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, asexual, or may decline to label their sexual orientation. So I think it's important to note and clarify the difference between sexual orientation and gender identity. Let's see. The term transgender is also distinguished from intersex, a term that describes people born with physical sex characteristics that do not fit typical binary notions of male or female bodies. The counterpart of transgender is cisgender, which describes persons whose gender identity or expression matches their assigned sex. I tell you, it's really confusing, but I'll tell you why it matters is because that's the shit I'm seeing in the news. So it makes people wonder exactly who these people are, what is going on. So the degree to which individuals feel genuine, authentic, and comfortable within their external appearance and accept their genuine identity has been called transgender congruence. Many transgender people experience gender dysphoria, and some seek medical treatments such as hormone replacement therapy, sex reassignment surgery, or psychotherapy. Not all transgender people desire these treatments, and some cannot undergo them for financial or medical reasons. Hey, I ain't trying to be no hater. This ain't no hater. I am only giving you the definition. And people jump to conclusions like I'm automatically saying something bad or negative. All I'm trying to do is establish how we identify a male and a female. Let's see. Most transgender people face discrimination in the workplace and in accessing public accommodations and healthcare. In many places, they are not legally protected from discrimination. So that's just what it says. So it made me wonder, what is gender dysphoria? Because it's saying many transgender people experience this. And gender dysphoria, or GD, or gender identity disorder, GID, is the distress a person experiences as a result of the sex and gender they were assigned at birth. So when it actually causes you to feel stressed out and have this inner anguish because of what you already are, that is a mental illness. Okay? Let's see. In this case, the assigned sex and gender do not match this person's gender identity, and the person is transgender. There is evidence suggesting that twins who identify with a gender different from their assigned sex may do so not only due to psychological or behavioral causes, but also biological ones related to their genetics or exposure to hormones before birth. Juanita, you think that's funny? Hey, it's important that people know what the heck they're talking about. So I figured, might as well look it up. Gender dysphoria is classified as a disorder under dual role transvestism in the 2017 ICD-10-10 CM. GID, gender identity disorder, was reclassified to gender dysphoria by the DSM-5. Some transgender people and researchers support declassification of gender identity disorder because they say the diagnosis pathologizes gender variance, reinforces the binary model of gender, and can result in stigmatization of transgender individuals. But this is the catch, and this is important, and people need to understand this. The official reclassification as gender dysphoria in the DSM-5 may help resolve some of these issues because the term gender dysphoria applies only to the discontent experienced by some persons resulting from gender identity issues. The American Psychiatric Association, publisher of the DSM-5, states that gender nonconformity is not in itself a mental disorder. So, just being a cross-dresser isn't a mental disorder. The critical element of gender dysphoria is the presence of clinically significant distress associated with the condition. The main psychiatric approaches to treatment for persons diagnosed with gender dysphoria are psychotherapy or supporting the individual's preferred gender through hormone therapy, gender expression, and role or surgery. So even Wikipedia has this listed as a mental disorder, and I think no mental disorder should be used to classify or identify sex in the United States or anywhere in the world. So that's my view, and that's what Wikipedia had to say about transgenders and what gender dysphoria is.